Hello everyone, this is Annette with ASCardDesign and welcome to another live. I want to say hello to those in the chat already. Brenda. Brenda's a faithful follower of my YouTube channel, so I'm so glad you're here. Let me know if you can hear me though. That would be really helpful in the chat to say yes, I can hear you, I can see you. Sometimes there's technical difficulties, but everything so far looks like it's working on my end. So I just want to make sure you can all hear me. And we'll just give that a moment and then we'll get started. Tonight I'm just going to make a really easy card. It's using a simple stencil, just a one layer stencil, but you can certainly do this technique with layering stencils. Thank you, Brenda, for letting me know. You can do this with layering stencils. You could just really do this with anything that you already have. I love to do techniques. I get a lot of inspiration on YouTube videos that I watch, so I don't always have everything that the inspiration video is using, all the supplies. So I just use what I have. I just swap out and use what I have. So let me switch down to the table camera, and I'm only going to be using 3 inks today. They're all GinaKDesign inks. Most of my inks are Gina K's. I do have some from Simon Says Stamp. I really like those inks as well. And I have some Ranger Distress inks and oxides. I don't use those as much, but I should because I really love them. And when I started making cards about 2 years ago, those were my first inks. Tim Holtz was one of my first videos I watched, and he's, you know, the king of distress, and so I bought some of his inks because I really loved the techniques he did. And next week's live I'm going to do a technique using some of his stamps because his stamps are really unique. He uses the rubber foam stamps, and so I'll show you that. It's actually a birthday card I made for my son, and I'm going to just replicate it because it was such a fun card, and it's actually a fun fold card, so I'm going to do that next week, next Wednesday at 7 p.m. So anyway, tonight, these 3 inks, I'm going to be using our Wild Wisteria, Medium Spruce, and Dark Spruce. These spruces are so pretty. There's a light spruce also, but these colors are so nice for fall and Christmas, so that season's coming up. So I'm excited to start using these inks again. And then the stencil I'm using is from Gina K, and it's called Bold Bouquet. I better leave that on so you can see it. And it's just a real pretty single layer stencil. So we're going to use that. And let's see, we're going to start with the purple ink. Let me get a piece of construction paper down here. And we're going to start off with a couple pieces of cardstock. These are just quarter sheet cardstock panels. I always have a bunch of these on my desk that I pre-cut. That way I can just grab and go. So they're over here. And what I'm going to do is I want them right up next to each other. And I need to put my glasses on so I can see. Alright, I'm going to put them right up next to each other. I don't want any gaps. And then I'm going to tape them. I'm going to just tape them down so they don't move. I'm going to try to get them even. Alright. Alright. And I'm only going to tape the top. And then I'm going to just lay this stencil kind of in the center of them. Alright, because I want some of the pattern to be on this panel and some on this panel. So we'll probably go about like that, and I am going to tape that down. And we will just tape it right up there, and I'm also going to put some tape down here. Alright, so I can get that out of the way. And then we're going to start, like I said, with the Wild Wisteria. So I'm going to bring in a purplish blending brush, and I want to get a paper towel here. And we're just going to start blending in the center and go out. And I'm just going to do the flowers in purple, and then I'm going to do the greenery, of course, in the greens. And if they overlap a little bit, it's fine. I kind of like that look. So we're just going to start in the middle and get it dark, and then just blend it out and get lighter handed as I go out. just get all those petals. And we'll do the same here. Make sure nothing moves. And then we'll do these as well. Just a little bit of color. And then the rest I'm going to do is green. So we'll switch out to medium spruce. We'll do the light color first. And you always want to start with your lightest color and then go in with your darker color. And I'm just starting, you know, at the base and blending out. So it's darker and then it fades out to lighter. And I see one thing that I already forgot to do, and I'm going to do it right now, is, before I make a really big mistake, is I'm going to protect the sides of these panels because I don't want ink to blend out. It may have already done that, but we'll see. I think I'm okay. I think I'm okay. Okay, so I just want to get some of this greenery going. And then I want to come in with the dark spruce. And for that, I'm going to grab a smaller brush. These blending brushes are also from Gina K. And this is a fine detail brush, and it has like short, stubby bristles. You can see that. And they're really good for getting into the fine detail. And you'll see in a second here, like the ink is just really right where I'm putting it. So these are good for that. So get some of this dark spruce down. Get that stem darkened up a little bit. All right. Today we're still having a heat wave here in central Ohio. Our heat indexes have been in the triple digits, and it's just so hard to, I like to take a walk every day. That's been really hard to do. Especially on nights I go live, because I'd be a sweaty mess. I'm going to go back in with a little bit of the purple. I want that color to pop a little bit more. And that's what's so nice about, you know, this. As long as you keep everything in its place and nothing moves or shifts, you can go back in. And I want this base really to be dark purple. I think I like that. All right. So we are done with our inks. Let me get these out of the way. I'm just gonna put them on the floor. Everything goes on the floor. If you've watched me, you know my floor is the catch-all. And I'm just going to lift this stencil up. Okay, and then to clean the stencil, I just spray it with rubbing alcohol and wipe it off. It comes right off, or you can just run it under water. Oh, and see, I don't know if you'll be able to see this, but anyway, let me just get these both off. There's your two panels. But if you look closely, you'll see a little line right here where I didn't quite catch it soon enough, but it's going to be okay. I'm still going to move forward. I'm not going to redo it. I'm just going to, it'll work out for the card. So let me get these out of the way for a second. And we are done with this. I know, I love these colors together. Purple's always been my favorite color, and I can remember, I'll share a story when I was in the 4th grade. You know how when you were in grade school or elementary school, primary school, whatever you call it, going shopping for school clothes. That was just always such a big deal for me at that age. We didn't have a whole lot growing up, so when Mom took us shopping, we knew that, you know, that was a sacrifice and we were getting some new clothes. That was a big deal. But there was this outfit, and it was purple and orange, and you know, this would have been in the early 70s, and you know, it had the wide lapels, and it was like a jumper, and I just loved it. I wanted it so bad, and usually, you know, we were told no, but my mom got me that outfit. I wore it for my school pictures that year, so I still to this day see that picture, and I have that purple and orange outfit on. It's kind of funny. Okay, back to our panels. Now, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to die cut these. And I am going to use Master Layouts 2 from Gina K. And I wanted to say, you don't need these dies to cut panels. If you're new to card making, I didn't have these dies for a long time. I just hand cut these with a paper trimmer. And I use a guillotine paper trimmer. I also have the Fiskars wire, I think it's a wire. I don't even, yeah, it's a wire guided blade. I have that kind of a trimmer too. But if you don't have the Master Layouts dies, you can just cut these panels. And I made these templates a long time ago, and I'll put the measurements in the description after this video, after I do the editing. But basically, these are just different size panels. And let's say you wanted the front. We're going to layer these two panels. We're going to make one card with both of these, and you'll see what I'm talking about. But basically, we're going to cut these into two pieces. And let's just say I want one of the panels to be this size, and I'm going to make a matte layer. And then I'll do another panel this size with a matching matte layer, and I'm going to stack them. Then I will know what size to cut my paper, because I already wrote the measurements on these templates. So that's kind of something nice to have, at least for me, because I can't always remember the sizes of everything. And the other thing I can't always remember, because I never grew up sewing or was never really good in math, is a ruler and what all those little notches mean. Now, of course I know the inch, quarter inch, half inch, 3/4, but what are all those little tiny notches in between? I don't know. So I still struggle, I have to admit. So I found this little inch calculator on the internet, and I printed it, and I have this on my craft table. So, you know, now I know how to find a 5/16 or a, 2 3/8. I know where to find it. So, this is handy for me. So I just like to share what I do. Is it cheating? No, it's a tool to help me. So, all right, so we're going to use Master Layouts. So let's go ahead and bring in the die cutting machine. And bring this in. I might have to zoom out a little bit. There, we'll just try that. Let me get this out of the way. And this is a Sizzix Big Shot. That's what I use. And I've had this brand new die cutting plate in my stash for about a year. Let me show you what I was using. I've been using this plate for a long time. It's cracked. I accidentally cut into it. I think I've just gotten all the use I'm going to get out of it. So I did bust out my new plate, and I'm going to try my hardest not to accidentally cut into it. I want to leave this so nice and clean and new. We'll see how long that lasts. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take from Master Layouts 2, I'm going to take all 4 of these dies out. And you'll see there's 2 dies that have a stitched border. Try to get these in order here. There's 2 dies that have a stitched border and 2 dies that don't. The dies that don't will be the matte layer, okay? So we'll cut those in black. And then these are the dies that we're going to cut these panels out. And I need to get some black cardstock. Okay. It's always nice to have pre-cut panels, so that'll come in handy. All right, and then let's see. I need to decide which panel I want to cut with which size here, which size. So the smaller one is going to be layered on top. So let's, do we want to do that and this? I think I'm going to do this one with the large, make this one the large panel. So all I'm doing, get this over here where you can see, is I'm just going to crop it somewhere. And unfortunately I am going to get that shadow in here, but that's okay. I still think I have a little trick up my sleeve. I'm going to bring out the splat box and do some splattering. Maybe hide it a little bit. And then we're going to put our top plate right on top of that. So the die is cutting into the magic mat. We'll just run that through. And pull that out. And then just peel the tape off carefully. This is mint tape, and it does a really good job about not tearing the cardstock. So that's the first panel, and you can see the beautiful stitched edge all the way around. I just love these colors. I love purple and greens together. So that's panel number 1. And then we'll do this one. Let's get this one set up. And for here, I want this one. This is going to be, again, the panel that goes on top. So let's crop it. Let's just crop it like that. See what that looks like. Okay. And run that through. All right. And that's the second panel. Okay, so now we need to die cut the matte layers, and we'll go ahead and do those next. For these, I don't have to tape these down. I just need to run them through. Pretty easy. Oops, let's get everything straight. So that's one, and then let's run the last one through. Something on this cardstock. There we go. I'm going to run this one this way because I could probably use this cardstock again. I don't know. Let's see. Is that wide enough? Oh yeah. I'm not sure. It does. It's cutting it pretty close, so we'll just put it this way. And make sure it's on the cardstock. Okay. Alright, so we are done die cutting. Let's get that out of the way. And then we have these panels. And we're going to, these two will go together. And I really like that little thin black border. Love that. And we'll do the same with this one. However, first, we are going to see if we can cover up some of that mistake I made up here. I'm going to bring in my very technical splat box, which is just a shipping box, as you can see. I'm just going to lay this old paper towel in here. These boxes are really nice. I love to play with some of the spray inks and just spray color on backgrounds, but it might be kind of hard to see. I'll see if I can maybe bring this out a little bit so you can see without me getting ink everywhere. because once you start splatting, it goes everywhere. So I'm just bringing in an acrylic block, and then I have this acrylic paint, and it's just black from Deco Art. I just picked it up at Michael's. I've had it forever. And so I'm just going to give it a shake, and I'm just going to put a very tiny bit onto my block. Doesn't take a lot. And I want a brush. I'm just using a paintbrush. That might be a little bit too big. Let's see. This is a number 5 brush, and look at that. I have ink all over me. I don't even know how I did that already. So let me find my, what did I do with my alcohol? Oh boy, here it is. Let me spray this and get this off of me before I get it all over my project. See if that'll come off. Oh yeah, most of it comes off. It must be on this bottle. So anyway, moving on. So this ink, this acrylic ink, I'm just taking some spray water, and I'm just going to put a little bit onto the block, and I'll probably spray my brush too. I just want to thin that down a little bit. I'm going to try to do this without black ink going all over my desk. And I'm just going to pick it up, and I'm just going to tap it off onto the paper towel first, and then onto the cardstock. Right over the design. Okay. And I think that looks good. It just adds a little something. What do you think? And I can see right now, I know you can't see this, but right directly in front of me is my monitor. There's black ink splatter on that monitor. I don't know how it does. It just gets everywhere. I don't understand. I don't get it. So let me just put this down. Let me wipe my table, because I have ink splattered everywhere. No matter how careful I am, it goes everywhere. So I'll clean my monitor later. That's just the way it goes. And then I'm just gonna spray my brush just to get most of it off. I'll wash it later, and then I'm gonna spray that and just wipe most of it off. Okay. Put those out of the way. And then I do want to take just a minute. I'm going to spray my hands. I do not want to get ink all over this project. Alright. Yeah, it's looking good. It's shaping up to be a good looking card. Okay. So we're just going to give that a quick second to dry. And we'll do some gluing while we're waiting. So I'm just going to glue our panels together. And let's see, that goes that way. So I'm just putting some liquid glue onto this, and we'll get it just kind of eyeballing the center of the matte layer. And we'll get that down. And there's that. Okay. And these should be dry by now. If they're not, I'm probably going to make this into a big mess, but I think we're going to be okay. Okay, get that down. All right, I was being a little careful, but, and there's that. So we have 2 panels, okay? And then the next thing I want to do is on the back of this panel, I'm going to put some foam tape. And this is just 1-inch foam tape that I picked up at my local craft store. It's a decent size loft. I'm not sure exactly what size it is, but we're just going to put it on the back of this panel so we can give it a little bit of dimension, lifting it off of the larger panel. So let's just cut these. Maybe just do 2 of them. That's all that's going to fit is 2 of them. Nope. that is way too close to the edge, so let's try that again. Let's get this right about like that. I don't use foam tape as much as I should. I like using it, but it just seems like I have to really mess around with it too much. And then all we're going to do is let's go ahead and bring in our card base. So this is a side folding USA2 size side folding card base. And again, all the supplies, all the measurements will be down in the description after probably sometime tomorrow. YouTube has to, for the lives, they kind of have to review them, and then once they approve them, and I usually get that the next day, the following day around 9 in the morning, then I can go in and do my thing and edit it and add to the description and get it all finalized. So, and then I'll take pictures of the final card too and get those on the channel too. I always like to post those. So now we have our base layer onto the card base, and then we're going to pop this up right on top, and that's why I called this video 2 for 1. You're getting one stencil but two panels for one card. So I really like this technique. Alright, so let's peel the backers off of this and get these going. That's one. Get that off, and I am going to put some liquid glue on the back of this tape, because tape is so sticky, and you know, once it hits that cardstock, you're stuck. It's there. It's really hard to move it around if you don't have it exactly where you want it. So this will give me a little bit of float time, and I'm just going to kind of eyeball the center and just lay it down. I'm going to make sure it's straight. I have to pull that up a bit, but that looks good. Okay, so there we go. I just need to put a greeting on, but isn't that pretty? It's a real simple, just kind of a simple card, but it just looks like a lot went into it, and really a lot did not go into this at all. Alright, so the greeting I did ahead of time, and I made a thinking of you. This is going to be a thinking of you card, and I made these on a Word document. I just did thinking of you all over the page, and then I did a black like shadow layer of like a background and white font, and I just made a bunch of these, printed them on cardstock, and then I die cut them out. Again, if you don't have a die cut, you can just use your paper trimmer. But I cut them out, and I did a couple extra pieces and glued them onto the back to give it some dimension, and then I took some foam squares, little foam squares, and put those on the back. So let's go ahead and take those off. But yeah, you know, I wanted a thinking of you that was really small, and I just didn't have a stamp. I thought, why don't I just create my own? So I don't know. I just like making the cards. And you know what? I wanted to also share, over the weekend I was traveling to visit my brother, and I was listening to NPR on the radio, and they were interviewing a postal worker, and she was saying how, since, you know, the internet and email and texting, you know, and that's our world now, you know, we text, we email, we communicate that way mostly. She said the U.S. Postal Service delivers 85 to 90% of what they deliver now is junk mail, advertisements, coupons, and basically junk mail, things that people don't want. But that's basically where we are. So making cards, sending a handwritten note to someone is so special, and just can brighten up somebody's day. Nobody expects it, so I love to make cards and just send them. I should do more random sending of cards, but right now I just send them for like birthdays and different occasions. But yeah, Brenda, you make your own sentiments as well. I think it's great because you can, you know, you can change the font, you can make it say anything you want. I love it. So I'm just gonna put this down right into the middle. right there. And you can take it a step further if you wanted, and I'm not going to do it tonight because I don't know where my gems are, but you can add, actually I see some way over here, hold on. Let's go ahead and do this. You can add little gems too, and I have this jar. Let's go ahead and do it. Let's do it, let's do it. I have this little bird dish. Let me empty some of these down in here. But yeah, I mean, especially, you know, just sending a card, it just lets people know you're thinking of them, and it's just a nice thing to do. Let's go ahead and let's use this. Let's see. Actually, I'm going to have to dump these just so I can see what I'm doing a little bit better. Yeah, I think it needs some of these black little what do you call these things? Little gems, of course. They always want to be upside down. I want a real tiny one. There's another one. I'm going to just do 3. This could have been a bad call on my part. Oh my gosh. I think that's good. I like that. So let's just place them. All right, so I just have this little pick tool. I'm gonna do my best. I'm not the best at this two-handed thing, and I already got way too much glue on there. Oh, let's just put it down. What was I thinking doing this? Let's see if I could do this one a little bit better. It doesn't take a lot of glue, just a little dot. Okay. Not too bad, not too bad. There we go. I think that added a little finishing touch. So that's it. This was a quick and easy card. I hope, give it a try and let me know. You can always send me a message or join the live next week and let me know how it went if you tried this process or tried to create a card like this. And that's it. Oh, thanks. Yeah, thank you. It's pretty. It's just the colors, right? The green and the purples. You cannot go wrong with green and purple. So that's it. If you liked this video, and I hope you did, I'd love it if you just give me a like, a thumbs up, share it, tell people about it, and make, I know some of you are already subscribed to the channel, and I appreciate that. If not, do subscribe, hit that notification button so you don't miss another video. If you're in the Central Ohio area, my cards are in a couple stores here locally. You can always go to my website, ASCardDesign.com. There's cards there. Shipping is free in the US. But that's it for tonight. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for joining me. And until next time, have a great evening and a great week. See ya. Bye.